What's up, everyone? Christian Duke, StrengthAddicts.com, here with Dan Icenhour from TC Muscle at the 2018 NPC North Coast Championships. And we actually met at the Arnold, right?
Yeah, we met at the 2018 Arnold Classic.
Fantastic. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Okay, so you've done 2 shows. Mm-hmm. The first one you said was West Virginia in 2016.
That is correct.
And here you are almost, 3 years later, here at the North Coast. Mm-hmm. So talk to us about, I guess, before anything, what got you into bodybuilding? Because it's growing, but it's still a niche sport. So what got you involved in bodybuilding to begin with?
I watched a documentary involving former IFBB pro bodybuilder Jeff Willett.
Oh, cool.
And I was a college football player, and I was looking to do something competitive after college. And I watched this documentary, and I was hooked because I love being in the gym. So Jeff Willett, I have credit for getting me into bodybuilding.
Yeah, and I've actually done a couple interviews with him, and the last one was at Jeff Willett's Powerhouse Gym in Adrian, Michigan, and it had to close down because the gym business nowadays, you have all these Planet Fitnesses, and just people don't realize, even in Michigan, they didn't realize how great of a bodybuilder he was, and all this knowledge that they could have had. Instead, they were getting it from whoever. So yeah, so I'll definitely tag him on this. That's a great compliment, Dan. So talk to us again. And now, when you saw this documentary, did that get you into the gym lifting, or were you lifting all along and that got you onto the stage?
What it did was it honed what kind of training I was going to do. So a lot of my training was strength training, being a football player, but it changed after watching that documentary to sculpting my body.
Exactly.
To be competitive. I didn't like where I was at. I didn't like the way I looked. And I want to look like that guy. So
exactly, and that's actually the name of the
documentary.
Absolutely, and Jeff and another guy, Skip LaCour, they have a very interesting way of training, which is max OT. So they like to train real heavy for a lot of reps. I mean, it's brutal training, but it really works. So you do that show in 2016, and you start working with Brian Hoydick from TC Muscle. Talk to us about how you found him and the evolution from 2016 to now, because I know that it was important to you to put on size.
Yeah. Well, you talked a little bit about Max OT, and that's the program I started in bodybuilding with. But then I came quickly to realize that I needed someone with experience and guidance. So I happened to go to the same gym with Brian Hoydick, and every bodybuilder that Brian has worked with at that gym were winning shows. So I had to approach Brian and say, hey, this is something I want to do, and I'm going to put all my effort into it. Is that something you can do, help me out with? And he jumped on board and said, yeah, absolutely. So I've been with Brian ever since.
That's awesome. And I think I have to commend you also because, 2016 you do your first show, and you want to put on the size. You could have gone a different route. You could have done a bunch of shows in 2016 and 17 and 18, but you didn't do that. You're very. I really admire that. You actually took time away from the stage to build a physique that you wanted, and then you got on. Because what's the point of rushing? I mean, you're doing this because you have a picture in your head. You're an artist, right? And you want to get that look. That's what it's all about, and you want to bring that to the stage. I think that's great. Now, talk to us about where you're from, what gym you train at, and what do you see for the future?
I live in Cleveland, Ohio. I work out at Powerhouse Gym in Korea, owned by Joe Mazzone, same gym Brian Hoydick works out of. I work in the supplement industry for VPX Sports, Bang, and Redline Energy. If you haven't heard of Bang, you live on the rocks.
That's the best, yeah.
In this industry. I'm sorry, what was the rest of the question?
No, and I was just thinking that Jack Owak, too, is a visionary. VPX is just always on the cutting edge. And also, what do you see in the future? In other words, so, do you have any other shows planned, or are you where do you want to take your bodybuilding? Like, what's your ultimate goal? Do you want to get a pro card? Do you want to compete locally, regionally, nationally? What is the future for you? Like, the same way that you took 3 years to create the physique you wanted, in your mind, where do you want to take this love of bodybuilding?
So from here, I'm going to look back at my former pictures, compare them with where I'm at now, talk to Brian. I'm probably going to take some time off to grow. Ultimately, I'd love to have a Masters Pro card. Quite a few years away from that, but I definitely want to be bigger. I want to stay in the super heavies. I want to be competitive in the super heavies, so that every show I go to, there's a very solid chance of me winning. So I'm going to continue to keep putting on mass, growing, and when Brian says it's time to go, it's time to go.
And I love the fact that you always say that you consult with Brian, you want Brian's feedback, and Brian's feedback is going to weigh significantly on your future decisions. And I also think that is something that's like way ahead of where you are in terms of how many shows you've done, but that's something that's going to really help you in the long run, because Brian's turned a lot of guys pro.
Yeah.
Guys and girls, he knows what's up. He's one of my favorite all-time prep coaches. Finally, what do you think about the North Coast Championships? Your overall impressions of this show, how it was run, the venue, all that fun stuff.
Well, I actually came to the show for the first time last year just to watch, and I loved how quickly they moved, how every bit of attention to detail was taken care of, and how they treat competitors. You know, a couple of weeks ago, my trainer had some health issues, and Dean Caputo called me. He didn't know who I was, but he decided to call me on the phone, see how everything was going, and thank me for being a part of this. And I was blown away. This show is one of the best I've ever seen.
Absolutely, yeah. Dean's a great guy. Brian Hood, like I said, one of my favorite prep coaches, a personal friend. I care about him a lot. I'm glad to see he's coming through. He's doing real well. You know what I mean? We'll see him at the shows again real soon. Finally, Dan, social media. Do you have an Instagram or Facebook?
I do. Follow me at VPX_ICE on Instagram.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much
Thank you.
for Dan Icenhour, Christian Duke, StrengthAddicts.com.